Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Henry.
And I'm Sarah, your co-host. We're so excited to have you with us today. Whether you're walking, relaxing, or studying, we hope this podcast helps you on your English journey.
Absolutely. And today's topic is a really important one. How to improve your English vocabulary. Vocabulary is like the building blocks of language. Without words, we just can't communicate well.
That's right. The more words you know, the better you can express your thoughts, understand others, and feel more confident when speaking or writing in English.
In today's episode, we'll share some easy and smart ways to learn new words, how to remember them longer, and most importantly, how to use them naturally in conversation.
We'll also talk about some fun methods, our own learning stories, and give you a small challenge at the end to help you grow your vocabulary every day.
So, if you've ever said, "I forget words so fast," or "I don't know what word to use," don't worry. This episode is for you.
Let's dive right in and explore why improving your vocabulary can really change the way you learn English.
So, let's start with the big question. Why is vocabulary so important when learning English?
Great question, Henry. I think a lot of learners focus on grammar first, but without enough vocabulary, grammar doesn't help much. Words are how we express ideas, emotions, and thoughts.
Exactly. Think about it. Even if your grammar isn't perfect, you can still communicate well if you know the right words. Like if someone says, "I yesterday go market." It's not grammatically correct, but we still understand what they mean.
Yes, because the key words are there: yesterday, go, market. That's why vocabulary is powerful. It helps you get your message across even if your sentence isn't perfect.
And it works both ways. The more vocabulary you know, the easier it is to understand others, especially when you're listening or reading.
True. For example, if you're watching a movie or reading a book and you don't know many words, it's hard to enjoy it or learn from it.
Right. And if you're in a conversation and someone says a word you don't know, you might feel lost or nervous. But if you have a strong vocabulary, you feel more confident.
Confidence is so important. And remember, vocabulary isn't just about learning big or fancy words. It's about knowing the right words for everyday situations.
Like how to order food, ask for directions, or express how you feel. These are real-life situations where vocabulary makes a big difference.
And here's something interesting. Studies show that people who know more words tend to think more clearly and communicate better. So it's not just about language, it's about thinking too.
Wow, that's powerful. So, to everyone listening, if you improve your vocabulary, you're not just improving your English, you're improving your ability to connect with people and express yourself in the world.
Exactly. That's why today's topic is so important and why we're going to help you find the best ways to grow your vocabulary step by step.
So, Sarah, before we dive into the methods for improving vocabulary, let's talk about the struggles many English learners face.
Yes, because learning new words isn't always easy. One of the biggest problems is that learners often forget new words quickly. They learn it today and forget it by tomorrow.
Oh, yes. I've heard that so many times. I learn a word, but I can't remember it when I need it. It's frustrating, right?
Definitely. And that's because our brains need repetition and context to remember something. Just seeing a word once isn't enough.
Another common struggle is when learners know a word when they read or hear it, but they can't use it when speaking.
Exactly. That's the difference between passive vocabulary and active vocabulary. Passive means you recognize the word, but active means you can actually use it when you talk or write.
Right. And turning passive vocabulary into active vocabulary takes practice. Lots of it. It doesn't happen overnight.
And sometimes learners focus too much on difficult or rare words, thinking they sound smarter. But it's more important to learn common, useful words that help you in real conversations.
That's a great point. For example, instead of learning a fancy word like perspicacious, it might be better to learn words like confused, tired, or excited. Words you can actually use in daily life.
Also, many learners feel shy or afraid to make mistakes when using new words, so they avoid speaking, and that slows their vocabulary progress.
Yeah, and I always tell learners, mistakes are a good thing. They show you're trying. You learn much faster by using the word, and maybe saying it wrong than by never using it at all.
That's so true. So if you're listening and you've faced these struggles, you're not alone. These are very common and totally normal.
The good news is, we're going to share some practical ways to fix these problems. You'll learn how to remember new words, use them confidently, and grow your vocabulary day by day.
Let's get into the first method, one of my favorites, learning through reading. All right, let's jump into our first method to improve vocabulary, reading. Henry, don't you think reading is one of the most powerful ways to learn new words?
Oh, absolutely. Reading is like a gold mine for vocabulary. When you read, you see words in context, which helps you understand how they're actually used, not just their definitions.
Yes, and you don't have to start with big novels or complicated articles. You can begin with simple stories, graded readers, or even blogs and social media posts in English.
Totally. Some of my students love reading short stories or children's books in English. The language is clear, and they learn a lot of everyday words without getting overwhelmed.
And here's a tip. When you read, keep a small notebook or use your phone to write down new words. Don't try to memorize everything. Just focus on a few words each time you read.
That's a great idea. I also suggest highlighting or underlining words you don't know, then looking them up and writing a sentence with each one. It really helps the words stick in your memory.
You know what else works? Reading out loud. When you read and say the words, it helps you with pronunciation and makes the learning more active.
Yes, it connects your eyes, brain, and mouth. Reading silently is good, but reading out loud turns it into speaking practice too.
And the best part? You can choose topics you enjoy, like travel, food, science, fashion, whatever you love. When you enjoy what you're reading, it's easier to stay consistent.
Exactly. And consistency is key. Reading a little bit every day, even just 10 or 15 minutes, can grow your vocabulary faster than cramming one day a week.
So to all our listeners, try picking a short article or story today and write down just 3 new words from it. That's it. Then tomorrow, read again and find 3 more. It adds up.
Step by step, word by word, you'll start to feel more comfortable with English. Reading really is one of the best habits you can build.
All right, let's move on to another powerful method to remember vocabulary, spaced repetition. It sounds technical, but it's actually simple and super effective.
Now, let's talk about one of the smartest ways to remember new words for a long time. It's called spaced repetition.
Yes, I love this method. It might sound like a big phrase, but it's actually really simple. It means you review new words at increasing intervals over time, not just once.
Exactly. So instead of looking at a new word today and then forgetting it tomorrow, you review it today, then tomorrow, then a few days later, then a week later.
That's how your brain remembers better. The more times you see the word, with space in between, the stronger the memory becomes.
And the good news is, you don't have to do it all by yourself. There are some amazing apps that use spaced repetition for you, like Anki, Quizlet, or Memrise.
I personally love Anki. It shows you a flashcard, and if the word is easy, you won't see it again for a few days. But if it's hard, the app shows it more often. It's so smart.
Yes, and even if you don't use an app, you can still use this idea. You can make your own paper flashcards or a notebook and review the words on a schedule, like day 1, day 3, day 7, day 14.
It doesn't take a lot of time. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day is enough. You can even do it while waiting for the bus or drinking your tea.
One tip I give my students is to say the word aloud when reviewing it. Don't just read it silently. Speak it. Use it in a sentence and imagine a picture of it in your mind.
That's a great idea. Combining speaking, listening, and seeing the word helps you remember faster. And if you forget a word, that's okay. Just review it again. It's part of the process.
The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be consistent. A few words a day, reviewed the smart way, can turn into hundreds of words over time.
So if you're listening right now, try downloading a spaced repetition app or create flashcards for the new words you read today. You'll be amazed how much you remember after just 1 week.
All right, now that we've talked about remembering words, let's talk about something even more personal. Your own word bank. It's a great way to make vocabulary truly your own.
So, Henry, have you ever told your students to make a personal word bank?
Oh, yes. I think it's one of the most useful tools for any English learner. A personal word bank is like your own mini dictionary, but with words that matter to you.
Exactly. And it's so easy to start. All you need is a small notebook or a digital app where you can write down new words you learn during the day.
And don't just write the word. Make it personal. Write a short definition in your own words, maybe the translation, and 1 or 2 example sentences that relate to your life.
Yes. If you learn the word delicious, don't just copy the dictionary sentence. Write something like, "My mom's chicken curry is delicious." That way, the word becomes part of your world.
I love that. You can even add a small drawing or emoji if you're a visual learner. The goal is to connect the word to your memory.
And here's a tip. Review your word bank every weekend. Just go through the list, read the sentences, and try to say the words out loud. It only takes a few minutes.
Some learners even organize their word banks by topics, like food, feelings, travel, work. That makes it easier to review when you want to talk about those things.
Yes, and it's super motivating to watch your word bank grow. In the beginning, it might feel small, but after a month or 2, you'll have pages of vocabulary that you actually know and can use.
And because the words are connected to your real life, you'll remember them much more easily. It's not just memorizing, it's building your English identity.
So, if you haven't started one yet, this is your sign. After this episode, grab a notebook or open a notes app and begin your personal word bank today.
All right, now that we've built a strong word list, it's time to use it in real conversations. Let's move on to our next method. Speak and use the words you learn. Okay, now that we've built a personal word bank, it's time for the next, and maybe the most important step. Using those new words when you speak.
Yes, this is where real learning happens. A lot of learners collect words, study them, but they never use them in conversation. And that's why the words fade away so quickly.
Exactly. It's like learning to swim by just reading a book. You have to jump in the water. The same goes for speaking. If you want to remember new vocabulary, you have to say it out loud.
And it doesn't have to be a big speech. Just start with simple sentences using the new word. You can even talk to yourself. For example, "Today was exhausting," or "I'm feeling grateful."
That's a great idea. Or try using your new words when you chat with a friend, a tutor, or even during online language exchanges. The more you use the word, the more it becomes part of your active vocabulary.
And don't worry about making mistakes. That's part of the process. If you use the word incorrectly, someone might correct you, and that's how you learn even faster.
Yes, mistakes are good. They help you grow. I always tell my students, don't wait until you're perfect to speak. Speak to become better.
Another fun idea is to record yourself speaking for 1 or 2 minutes a day. Choose a topic, try to use your new words, and then listen back. It helps with confidence and pronunciation too.
And if you're shy, start small. Use one new word a day in your conversation. Just one. Over time, it becomes a habit, and suddenly you're speaking with so much more vocabulary than before.
So, to everyone listening, don't keep words in your notebook only. Let them live in your voice. Use them, play with them, even laugh about them. That's how they stay with you.
Coming up next, we'll talk about some fun ways to learn vocabulary, so it doesn't feel boring or like school homework. Stay with us.
All right, Henry, we've talked about reading, repetition, word banks, and speaking. But here's a question. Can learning vocabulary be fun?
Absolutely. In fact, I think the more fun you make it, the faster you learn. When you're enjoying yourself, your brain is more active, and learning feels natural, not like a chore.
Exactly. So let's share a few fun ways our listeners can learn vocabulary. First up, word games. Apps like Wordscapes, Scrabble Go, or even crossword puzzles in English can help you discover new words without stress.
I love that. And here's another one. Watching YouTube videos or English TV shows with subtitles. You hear the word, see it, and learn how it's used in real conversation.
Totally. And if you love music, you can learn vocabulary through songs. Just listen to the lyrics, sing along, and look up the meanings of interesting words.
Podcasts are great too. Like this one. You can pause, write down new words, and listen again later. And how about learning through topics you love? If you're into sports, fashion, or cooking, follow content in English on those subjects.
Yes, because when you're interested in the topic, you'll naturally want to understand more, which means you'll learn more vocabulary without even realizing it.
Another fun tip. Label things around your house. Stick a small note on your mirror, fridge, door, or notebook with the English word. Every time you see it, you learn it.
Love that idea. So remember, listeners, learning vocabulary doesn't have to be boring. Make it playful, make it yours, and the words will stick with you much longer.
Coming up next, we'll share a bit of our personal stories, how we've learned vocabulary in our own journeys. Stay tuned. All right, now it's time to get a little personal. Sarah, what's one thing that really helped you build your vocabulary when you were learning English?
Oh, good question. I actually used to keep a little vocabulary notebook with me everywhere. I would write down new words I saw in books or on signs, then create my own sentence with each word.
That's smart. Did you review it often?
Yes, usually every Sunday. It became a fun routine. And I remember I used to make funny or emotional sentences so I'd remember the words better. Like for the word embarrassed, I wrote, I felt embarrassed when I waved at the wrong person.
Haha, that's a great example. For me, I learned a lot of vocabulary by watching English cartoons and sitcoms. I paused a lot, looked up words, and tried to repeat the sentences out loud.
Oh, I love that. Did you ever feel silly talking to the screen?
All the time. But it worked. It gave me the confidence to use new words. I'd also try to use at least one new word in a real conversation the same day I learned it. That really helped it stick.
That's the key. Use it or lose it, right?
Exactly. And to our listeners, find what works for you. It might be writing, speaking, drawing, or listening. The important thing is to stay consistent and make it part of your life.
We're proof that learning vocabulary doesn't have to be boring. It can be fun, meaningful, and even a little silly.
And now, it's your turn. Let's give our listeners a simple vocabulary challenge to try this week.
All right, everyone, it's challenge time. Are you ready to grow your vocabulary this week?
Let's do it! This week's challenge is super simple but very powerful. We want you to learn and use just 5 new English words in the next 7 days.
Only 5. And here's how to do it. Find 1 new word each day, maybe from a book, a podcast, or a video. Write it down in your personal word bank. Create your own sentence with that word. And most importantly, say it out loud or use it in conversation.
You don't need to memorize 100 words at once. Just focus on these 5. If you understand them, say them, and use them, they'll become part of your active vocabulary.
And if you want bonus points, try recording yourself saying the sentence or teach the word to someone else. Teaching helps you remember even more.
We'd love to hear what words you choose. Share your 5 words with us in the comments or in your learning group, and help others learn too.
So, are you in? 5 words, 1 week, you got this.
Let's grow that vocabulary, 1 word at a time. Before we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with a few final tips and some motivation to keep going.
Yes. First tip, don't rush. Vocabulary learning takes time. It's not a race. If you learn just a few words a week and really use them, that's already great progress.
Exactly. And don't worry about forgetting sometimes. That's normal. The key is to review, repeat, and reuse. That's how your brain makes words stick.
And always choose words that are useful for your life, words you'll need in conversations, at work, or in daily situations. That makes learning more meaningful.
And finally, believe in yourself. Every English speaker once started with 0 words. You're not behind. You're on your own journey, and you're doing great just by listening to this podcast.
That's right. You're learning, you're improving, and we're proud of you.
Keep going, 1 word at a time, and soon you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed learning with us and feel inspired to grow your vocabulary.
Remember, small steps every day lead to big results. Keep reading, reviewing, and speaking.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with your friends who are learning English too.
We'll be back soon with more tips, stories, and practice. Until then, keep learning and keep